we're gonna jump to the next section of
Yes.
of this interview, which is where we talk about a bit about gear. So we're gonna start with the easy one. Obviously, one thing I'm always curious to find out, and it's not something that you share very often, is the pick you use, because you play at a crazy speed where it makes me want to sell my guitar. And I've been I've been experimenting with like 2.0s to 1.5 to down to 0.73s that I use now, and I still haven't really found like the perfect pick. So in your case, what works best for you?
Yeah, it's something that you must find it on your own, because what works for me, it will not necessarily work for you. And I've struggled many years with picks, and at some point I had made the worst pick choice, and it diminished my playing by a lot, and I mean a lot. So what I have as a general idea is thick picks, rounded with sharp tip. So for me, the best pick this moment is
Jazz?
it's the Andy James pick.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay,
But
can't really see
the
it. Yeah.
logo has worn off. But it's the Andy James pick. It's 2 millimeters, I think, and it's big, so I can play both on the lower register on the fretboard, the lower strings, but I can shred because it's rounded, and I'm not losing the momentum of the string, but the tip is very sharp, so I have the attack. So it's, if you want one pick for all, that's it. But in the studio, when I want to achieve different, textures, I'm using a lot of picks. For example, for my riffs, because I want something really accurate, I'm using really thin picks and very stiff. I'm talking about 1 millimeter pick, but really stiff. You can't bend it. And for my solos, using the Andy James. Andy James is my go-to pick. But I'm working with a company now. We're trying to create something hopefully unique.
Oh,
But
nice.
you'll never know. You'll never know. For the time being, I'm using the Andy James, and it's really my go-to picks.
Okay. Well,
If you haven't tried it, try it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, the good thing about the electric guitar is no matter what pick you're using, doesn't really change the sound. It changes the response, yes, but it's not like you were going to use a different pick and you have a more treble sound or a more mid-range sound. That works on the acoustic instruments, but on the electric guitar, changing the pick changes the response, but and a little bit the sound.
Yeah.
So it might, you might think that it's a very dull pick. It sounds dark, but it's not. It's as good as the other picks, and it helps the shredding.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Like truly.
Yeah, I think that's quite true. And you sort of answered one of the questions I wanted to ask is how do you deal with the lowered register with such a thick pick? So then you did mention to achieve like a more precise sort of sound in the lower register, you changed like a 1.0 pick, which helps because I find that with the 2.0, especially with the type of riffs, like you like to do a lot of that sort of sound, and with the 2.0 it's really difficult to get that articulation, and I think with the 1.0 in recording you can sort of get that. So I think in some ways you did sort of solve a problem that I always had, because I always like 2.0 for the higher register, but then it just sounds shit when you go down to the lower registers, especially on the 8 string. It's all mud. It's like you literally don't hear anything. No, there's like very low articulation, and only the softer picks, like the thinner picks, work better on the lower registers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also have some picks made out of stone.
What the?
They're like ceramic picks. They are obviously they tend to wear the strings really fast, but they're amazing for clean passages. They're amazing for clean passages. The ceramics.
Wow.
Yeah, the intro of the Cataclysm is recorded with that pick. And you know, it has a certain, you know, music box kind of element. You know, it's very plucky.
Yeah, because of how hard it is, it doesn't bend in any way. It's much stronger than the steel itself. So
yeah. It's a mineral element.
Yeah,
Exactly. So in the studio, it's not bad to experiment. Use a different pick for every riff. Doesn't really matter if it has a good response. But for only one pick, when I'm gigging, where, you know, that's the thing in the past now with the quarantine. I've always used the Andy James picks. Yes.
Nice. That's good to know. That's your secret then. Yeah, because we hear you talk a lot about Fishman, a lot about GOC and your strings as well, but we rarely hear you really talk about your picks, which is something I really wanted to ask today. So it
was a secret until now. I wanted to reveal it today.
Well, now the whole world knows your secret. Okay, well, so thanks for sharing so much about the pick you choose and how you use them live and also in the studio, and how you use them differently in different occasions. And it's something I should I have no idea why I've never thought of that, to like record with a different pick, because I tend to just go with the pick I use and then tweak the sound to get the type of response and the type of sound I want with the presets, rather than changing the pick. It's kind of silly now that I think of it.
If it works for you, then it's fine.
Yeah, but it's a pain actually to like tweak, because sometimes you just need a 2.0 to like just bash through the strings, because I use a 0.73 most of the time, because I have like short and like skinny fingers. So I just find like on the lower register, the thinner pick sort of hurts my thumb less when I do faster chugs, and because they flip through the strings, and you get better articulation. And then when you go to sweeps and when you actually want to shred, oh, it's a pain, because the pick just goes like that.
You're losing the momentum. Yes.
Yeah.
Different picks. Again, trying to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You have 3 sets of picks. What's the problem?
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm gonna do next as well. Okay, well, thanks so much for talking about your picks. So moving on, before we go to the biggest thing, which is the guitar, let's talk about the pickups you use. So obviously you're a Fishman's artist, and Fishman very proudly endorses you as well. So can you maybe just briefly share how Fishman's made a difference, because you hopped over from EMGs to Fishman's, and I remember you telling me that Fishman's are pickups that you have to try to believe. If you don't try them, it's hard to believe how amazing they are. So could you just briefly share how they made your playing from great to phenomenal?
You know, thanks first and foremost, but you know, I'm a mechanical engineer, and when there's a new technological thing out there, I want to learn about it. And it's not like every day you have some new technological things in the picks area. For example, before Fishman's, and you may think I'm exaggerating, but basically all the pickups are made roughly with the same way. You have, you know, the magnetic element, and then you have the coil.
You wound, yeah.
Yeah, and all the difference is how you wound them,
and what you wound them with. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of speculations, and it's a mystical thing where I have wounded my pickups in the mountain with the goat type of thing, and that's why it sounds so great. And they obviously sound great. All of great albums and great guitar tones were achieved by using these pickups. I love the Petrucci sound. It's amazing. The Deactivator and Crunch Lab, it's an amazing pickup. The DiMarzio, or the Holcomb and the old Periphery. They're amazing pickups. They're articulate, they deliver. But although being great, they're using the same concept. So Fishman, Larry Fishman, being an engineer himself, he created something different. I'm not exaggerating. It is something different. These pickups are not wounded. They have coil. Yeah, it's multi-layered CNC pickups, CNC coils that they're stuck together. And by doing that, you have an endless, palette of sounds, and they all sound so accurate. They're all the same amongst pickups, and it's something you have to listen yourself. Really, it's like listening to a high definition version of pickup. And the only way for you to prove it to you is having the two same guitars, and the one has Fishman. Of course, you have to adjust all your rig for these pickups, because they are, they have the top end more pronounced, they're crazily detailed, but at the end of the day, I think they will drive you through the extra mile way better than any other pickup. They also are very versatile. They have a true single coil option.
Yep.
And having true single coil in an 8-string guitar, it's not an easy thing. Excuse me. I have a single coil without losing output, without noise. I can simply, just engage the single coil and not changing the gain or readjusting anything. So that works for me. It's not, every pickup has their artistic elements that you might love, their character. These pickups has, the clarity and the preciseness
and consistency
that suits me. Yes.
Yeah, and I think you sort of need that in the type of music you play, because it's like, if there's anything you need the most, it's articulation, and I think that's why the Fishman suit you best among all the pickups that are out there right now. You use the Abasi, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah.
I'm using the Abasi because of their single coil.
Yeah, and sounds amazing. And like you said, the sound doesn't drop when you change from the humbuckers to the single coil.
Yeah.
In most cases, the split coils in a lot of guitars, it's like you literally have to change the presets. If not, it's not really a usable sound. It drops so much. Yeah, I get what you mean.
And I have basically I have 3 pickups in one. I have the
active
one with that's my daily driver, the passive one for cleans, and I have the single coil one.
Yeah, it's like 3 guitars.
Yeah, and I'm not sacrificing anything.
That's good. I can tell.
The bad thing is that when you have all your rig adjusted for a passive pickup, and then you put the Fishman, it's, you know, it's explosive, and sometimes it's over the top explosive, and that's where a lot of people you know, are using that excuse to say, oh, they're not really that good pickups. But it's natural. If you have your rig adjusted to a passive one, if you put something different, of course you need to readjust some elements. That's the first thing, you know, I found in my recording setup. But it gives you so much more things. For example, if you want to hook up straight to the to the amp, it sounds amazing without any pedal, without nothing. You know, that's the first thing I've listened and I've said, wow, that's really amazing.
Wow. Well, I can tell why you love Fishman so much, and I absolutely in accord with what you said. And yeah, so it's good to, like you said, it's good to endorse such a brand that believes in you. But I think you also said before that you need to believe in the product that you are endorsing it, because a lot of people do it for the sake of, you know, the endorsement itself, and not really because they believe in the product, and that's kind of natural, I guess. But again, you're an artist of a different league, so you sort of,
I'm not
you are,
really
yeah.
I'm not just thank you, but I really don't feel like one. But I want to make something that counts, something bold. I don't want to be subtle. I want to make something that I believe in. So having the orchestral tools, I believe in them because I love them so much. I like the sound, and I want to support that. And I'm doing this with anything that I'm using. It's not working for me to do something just for the endorsement, because if I'm not truly believe that, you know, I won't really support it, and that does not work for me. And you know, we're talking about, we're artists at the end of the day. We're not, you know, we're not trying to merchandise stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not. They're not paying me. They're not paying me. So, and I think no one gets paid these days by endorsing a brand.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are, I don't know, Tony Iommi,
Petrucci. Or your
Petrucci, yes.
Petrucci.
But again, you know, with these names, you're seeing a strong relationship with the brand. Petrucci uses Ernie Ball for so much time.
Yeah,
It's a
almost
part of
20
his
years,
sound.
I think. Yeah.
Yes, I don't believe he has done it only for endorsement. He doesn't need it. So again, we're at the same starting point. You have to believe in something, and then it will believe back.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, you know.
Definitely, definitely. I think there's really no point endorsing something that you don't believe in, because you're not doing any good to anyone actually by endorsing something that you don't believe in. Yeah.
And we are artists, you know. We want to make art. That's our job. We want to serve music.
Yeah.
That's our purpose, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And okay, well, speaking of endorsements, well, one thing that we of course cannot bypass is GOC guitars. So obviously you are one proud GOC endorser, and of course, vice versa, GOC is damn proud to have you as an artist. So what was the journey like for you, and why GOC when there are so many guitars out there that, you know, that are doing so well?
You know, it all started with me wanting something different and something agile and customizable at that point. I have, you know, specific needs in my mind, construction-wise, and I had specific, not needs, but I wanted a very specific kind of wood arrangement and colors and all that stuff. It may sound a little bit the color of the guitar, but if it's something inspires me and makes me want to grab it and write music, then it works for me. If you have an amazing interface in your VST, you want to use that VST.
Yeah.
It maybe sound great, but it's a tiny thing, but it matters to me. So back at that time, GOC was the only company that agreed to work with me and create something that suit my needs. And the first GOC had different scale length.
Really?
Yeah, they had something like 26 through 29.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's long.
Yeah, that was their basic model, but it was really fun. And I told them, no, I want that. I want the 25.6 through 28. I want specific wood on the neck. I want that colors. I want that arrangement. I want that cut. The placement of the knobs were different, and I said, no, I want the black way. And they have agreed to help me, and they've delivered an instrument. Of course, I'm talking about my first GOC that I fell in love with, and it really helped me. Back in the day, I was using an Ibanez 8-string that it had 29-inch scale, but
and everything was straight, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't lead that much. I was listening to myself when I was 15, and I was playing better. And yeah, it was the guitar. It wasn't me. Playing leads and doing vibratos and bend on such a long scale, it's not really easy. And when we're talking about making a gig about 1 hour or a master class, when it's really demanding, and my songs are really demanding even for me, I couldn't play it. So I wanted something different. And that was the GOC. And after that, we have a strong relationship. I ask them, they ask me. We are, communicating and trying, to polish something. Then we have my second model. Now we are talking about the third model.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a company that listens to me, and we're working together, and that's a great thing about the company.
Oh, awesome.
So that's why GOC is a no-brainer for me. Also, we have to talk about the price point. They're making quality stuff at a nice price point.
Yeah.
There are guitars, overseas. They're building the guitars in China, but so most of guitar companies do. It's not really logical to pay for an overseas guitar $3,000 or more. So what was really good about GOC is that delivering quality stuff, but at a reasonable price.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, I think I absolutely agree, because I don't think there's any other headless guitar company out there that can build a headless guitar at such a quality, at that sort of price. Because what I tell people with my GOC is that I barely have to tune my guitar, and if I have to tune my guitar, it's only because I'm being a bitch. It's not because the guitar needs to be tuned. In fact, it's one of those guitars that in tune the best, in my opinion. Okay, obviously having a headless guitar makes it a bit difficult to tune, but the good thing is that you don't have to tune all the time unless you really want to. And it's such an amazing instrument. And well, so you touched about you making your third. Any hints on when that's coming?
Yeah, around spring.
Oh, that's pretty soon then.
21. Yeah, it's going to be there because I love my guitars, and I'm a really one guitar guy. I want something that I love and that defines me, and it's really unique about me. All the guitar heroes that I admire, for example, Jeff Loomis, now he has Jackson, but his sector was monumental. It was so unique, and it was so Loomis.
Yeah.
The red and the
vampire. I think it's called Vampire Red or something like that. Yeah.
And
the cross.
Yeah. It was so Loomis. That was the Loomis guitar, and it still is the Loomis guitar.
Yeah.
Or Michael Romeo, he has his caparison, the white one.
Yeah.
That's really simple, but it's so Romeo. And Malmsteen has his own Fender, but they're not changing custom models one after another. Of course, they're upgrading their guitar, but the color scheme and their arrangement stays the same. And to be honest, I love that guitar. I love that pearl top. I love the Wenge fretboard. I have the option of making a new one, yes, but I love that one. And I wanted, to have the scars of using it, the scars of Fury, making lives with it, or driving me nuts. And okay, I don't do that, but I want to have all the signs of playing.
Yeah, that tells a story. Actually, that tells a story.
Yeah. I want to have a story.
Yeah, wow. I think you're lucky enough to have like one of the best finishes that GOC has ever made. I'm not sure if they actually made any other guitar in that finish after you or before you, but then it's like probably one of the best finishes they have done.
They have not, and hopefully they won't, because I want this to be unique.
Nice. Well, so then you did mention that you're making the next one there. So what sort of differences are you looking at? I mean, obviously this is a very, very well-made guitar, and it has served you well for, I think, the past 1.5 years or so, or almost 2 years maybe.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
So what sort of changes are you looking at? Is it changes, or is it just slight tweaks to suit your tastes better now?
Basically that guitar has a laminated neck,
yep.
And it's a Wenge and maple.
Yep.
So the next one has an Atlas fretboard.
Okay.
It's way more stable. For my next album, because I'm trying a more dark aesthetic, I wanted something different in the colors. So that's an option. But considering the woods, I haven't changed that much. I'm still keeping the Swampas body, and I want to use an exotic top wood, but it won't change the sound so much. So it's pretty an aesthetic one, just to be honest. Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, so so then in terms of function, it doesn't really, there's no huge change in terms of any sort of configuration except for the wood itself, like you said, the neck and things, and the top maybe, but then the scale and everything stays exactly the same, I would presume.
Yeah. And I think, there's no need to change that. There's no need to change that.
Okay.
And I love the scale, and I love the fretboard, profile.
Nice. Yeah, it is. It doesn't feel like an 8 string, to be honest. I mean, when you
Yes.
look at it, it's fat like an 8 string, but when you actually play it, it's like, wow, it doesn't feel like you're struggling to play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened these years, but I remember myself looking at guys playing an extended range guitar. For example, I remember looking at Loomis having a 7 string and said, "Oh, the fretboard is massive. How can he do that?" And these days, the 7 string or even the 8 string, they're looking like a normal thing. I don't know. We're used to seeing that, or do they have their fretboard, the scales shorter, or I don't really know. But yeah, it's a very comfortable profile. It's like
Yeah.
playing a 7 or even a
Yeah.
6 string.
Yeah, I do agree. Actually, it's very, very comfortable. So here comes the important question. Will you be the only one having that guitar, or are you gonna make it available like Masato did for his model?
Yeah, I'm not that cool just yet. And
Oh, come on.
yeah, look, I know if GOC had Kratsas signature model for everyone to buy, I know no one would buy it because of me. Because, okay, I'm not Loomis. And I really want to keep that color scheme for myself. So in both ways, that's a no for me. But who knows? Maybe I become really famous in the next year. So having a signature model will be a necessity. If I am famous, then yes, I will allow it.
Okay, well, so then if it's your signature, are you making any changes to like the fret markers, or are you going to use the 3 dots that are the GOC?
Yeah, I'm working on a new logo that I want to put on the fretboard. Yes, for the next one, but it's not the final thing. Also, GOC is trying some epoxy pouring on the fretboards with some glow in the dark,
Yep.
material.
Yep.
So we're experimenting with that.
Oh, nice. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to see what that one becomes actually. Yeah, I'm thinking of getting another one myself, and like that's just a very tempting proposition. I mean, even though I have to wait till spring, but it's a very tempting proposition, but then we'll see how it goes actually.
Yeah, yeah. But really, there's nothing wrong with my guitar, and I love this guitar. And you know, something inside of me does not want another guitar, but we should try it.
The time has come.
Yeah.
The time has come. All right. Well, that's very interesting, and we certainly look forward to you revealing that new model of yours, and obviously with your new logo as well. I mean, I did see your new logo. I'm not sure if that's going to be the one that's going to the guitar, but I think you may want to decide later down the road. Am I right?
Yeah, we're trying to put that logo on the fretboard, yes. But it's really not an easy thing to do because we have a lot of lines that are straight, and we have the frets that are not really straight. And it's we do not want to look messy.
Yeah, that's true, because if not, yeah, it will be sort of defeat the purpose.
On my first GOC, let me show you.
Yep.
We had there are not really, dots. There are hexagonal patterns that I also love, and maybe we will make again something like that, but more fancy and glow in the dark. That's why I said we're experimenting with things, and nothing is final yet. that's why it will take that long.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it'll be worth it, and then it'll be so cool to see you with that new guitar.
Yeah.
Well, a few more months to go. I'm sure it'll go by in no time, to be honest.
What?
No, it's only a few more months to go, and like I think
Yes.
time will go by like nobody's business, and then we'll be like the next thing you know, you'll have the guitar with you already.
Yeah. Time will fly, when
Yeah.
you're occupied with doing stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of months, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I know. And for something that great, I'm sure it's worth the wait. Yeah. Well, okay. So thanks so much for chatting about the guitar and your gear and also the way you write. So we've come to the last part of the show where generally we ask for any sort of advice you would give to anyone who aspires to play like you, or for people who want to give up the guitar, what would you say to them? Or for people who want to play like you or who are inspired by your playing, what sort of advice would you give them?
Yeah, I, I don't think I'm not, I do not think that I'm not that inspirational as a figure, but I want to say something inspirational, because that has inspired me. So I want to share it. I don't know if that is really groundbreaking or something new, but it's
Go ahead.
basically what I've said. Do what you want, and be bold about it. Don't try to copy anyone. Just be yourself in a very nice, unique, and bold way. Don't be afraid, to go past your limitations, or don't try to contain yourself creating something that it will be popular. A lot of us are doing something. Oh, let's try to make a song a certain way so it will be ear friendly and the people will love it. No, for me, that's not the way to go. I Most of the times I want to create something that people will dislike. The people will say, "Oh, that's so disgusting," and I'm not shy about it. I want to make a national part, for example, in the middle of a metal music construction. I'm bold about it. I will do it, and I would go nuts about it. And I would be massive about it because that's what I want to do. And that's a good thing about art. Art these days is a very recycling thing, and that's not a good way. Of course, there are some great, composers and guitar players, but they all share the same thing. They're out of their comfort zone, creating something new, not creating something that it will please the masses. So I guess it's an advice that I'm always trying to support and follow myself. So as a bottom line, yes, do what you want and be bold about it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good piece of advice, and it's very, very true. Like you said, either go big or go home. You either do it or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, do something with all your essence or don't do it at all.
Yeah, that's very true. And be ourselves as artists and not try to be like someone else. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, try to create art. That's not create, a disposable, merchant or a product. Not a product. Try to create art. Don't worry about your sales. obviously, when you're making money from music, that's something that you want to look into. But I'm talking about art. Create something unique, and not something that you're going to make money out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm giving the wrong advice.
Well,
and, a lot of people will suffer from but that's my mentality these days. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I think you're not wrong when it comes when by saying that, because obviously when it comes to when the focus becomes about making money, which there's really nothing wrong about it. Sometimes the whole artistic thing has to take the back seat because making money has to come first. But in a lot of our cases, we don't really have the privilege to really make money out of making music.
Yeah.
It's all really for the joy and passion for creating art rather than for the money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for that advice, and that is very, very helpful to
thank you
a
for
lot of
having
people.
me.
Well,
thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure, just chatting with you and talking about the thing we love, because we all love gear and arrangements and different doohickeys that we're doing that, and it would be great. We could talk about camera equipment. That's off topic, but it's something that we like, and also artistically we want to present our music the best possible way. So that's something you are far greater than me. So
no,
you can share some information.
Well, I can share whatever I know, but I no way am I like any greater than what you are and what you have achieved as an artist, and you have my utmost respect for everything that you do and everything that you have done. And well, if you ever feel like giving up, or if you ever feel demotivated, know that you inspire a lot of people, and that includes me as well. And there are many times where when I feel uninspired and I look at people like yourself, you have the drive to keep going and keep going. And I'm sure it's not easy. People see, oh, George is great, George makes great music, but I'm sure a lot of people don't understand the hard work and all the frustration that had to happen to make all that happen. So so do know that you inspire a lot of people, and you may deny it all you want, but you are a great artist.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, and it's really an honor to have you with us today here, and it's a very special episode because we've reached the 20th episode of the series, and it's so nice to have you on number 20.
20 is my lucky number.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, okay. So with that, it breaks my heart to say goodbye all the time. And so once again, I would like to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for your time. And I hope whoever who gets to watch this and whoever who wants to watch this episode will be inspired and hopefully learn a thing or two from King George.
What can I say, man? Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you. It's been my pleasure, and thank you so much. Stay safe, and I'm sure we will keep chatting non-stop about cameras or whatever else.